Hello and welcome to another Tabletop Ramblings Middle-earth strategy battle game battle report. Today's battle pitches all mounted Mordor against all infantry Rohan. Theoden, with his shield and heavy armour, is running the Defenders of Helm's Deep Legendary Legion. So the bows have a 30-inch range and all throwing spears are spears as well. Which is why he is leading 7 warriors with shield and throwing spear, 4 royal guard with shield and throwing spear, and a banner with shield and throwing spear. And then we have a captain. He has 1 royal guard and 8 warriors with shield and throwing spear. And then Gamling has 3 warriors with shield and throwing spear, a royal guard with shield and throwing spear, 4 warriors with bow, shield and throwing spear, and then Haleth and Aldor. And that is 600 points of Rohan infantry. Leading Mordor's mounted contingent, we have the Witch King. He has the Crown of Morgul, he's flying on his Fell Beast, and he has 3 might, 16 will, and 3 fate. He has with him 2 Morgul Knights and 3 Warg Riders, all with shield, and 1 has a throwing spear. In an identical warband, we have Camul the Easterling, also on a Fell Beast. He's got the 3 Warg Riders and 2 Knights. Then finally, we have a mounted Orc Captain with shield, and he has 2 Morgul Knights and 1 Warg Rider with shield and throwing spear. And that is 600 points of mounted Mordor. This is the table for today's battle, and today's scenario is going to be command the battlefield. This scenario is all about the corners of the board. Each corner is worth 1 victory point if you have more models in the corner than your opponent, and if you have double, then you get 2 victory points. The central 12 inches are worthless ground, so while the board is in those quadrants, the central circle doesn't count, so it's got to be in those corners. It's all about board control. There's also 1 victory point on offer for wounding the enemy leader, and 2 for killing them, and 1 for breaking the enemy, and 2 for breaking them while being unbroken yourself. Victory points, as always, are counted up at the end of the game, and this game ends at the end of a turn in which 1 force is reduced to 25%. Deployment for this scenario is Maelstrom of Battle, so we'll roll for first turn priority and see where the warbands are going to come on. Evil will be using red, and good will be using green. And it goes on a 6 to good. With good priority, we'll roll for the first warband, which will be Theoden. On a 3, it's anywhere Evil wants to put them on the north, on the east or west. With Theoden being placed in the bottom left, we'll roll for Gamling, who can choose anywhere east or west. Gamling has chosen to go right next to his king, trying to keep everyone together. So it's all down to the captain now. Where's he going to go? And on a 5, he can come in anywhere east and west as well. End of Rohan's move, and they have managed to deploy nice and together on the left-hand side, holding the 2 left quadrants of the board. And they are now ready to see where Mordor are going to deploy. We'll start off with the Witch King, who gets a 5, so that's anywhere east or west. The Witch King has come in right next to the Rohan line. He's moved out, and all of his cavalry have formed up. They are all well within cavalry charge range, but they are outside of 6, so they can't be charged by the infantry. Although they will have to survive a volley of throwing spears. Next to roll is Kamul. He's got a 3, so that is anywhere east or west that the enemy want to place him. That is not good for Kamul. Trying to pick up Kamul the Easterling, and I've just managed to rip his wing off. So I'll get that stuck back on, and then we'll be ready to jump back into the action. And while we've paused, might as well say, please do like, comment and subscribe. Unwilling to waste any might, as he's only got 2, Kamul allowed Rohan to stick him right on this corner. Absolutely miles away from the action. Let's hope that the captain can roll better and come in where is needed. So rolling for the captain. Oh, it's a 6. He can come in wherever he wants. Having rolled a 6 on the Maelstrom chart, the captain, who is tucked in behind that tree, has just joined forces with the Witch King, spreading his cavalry around, ready to join in with the Witch King's charge. So that is the end of deployment. Well, the end of turn 1, as the deployment is done in the move phase. So that's the end of movement. We'll go into shoot phase. Rohan shoot phase, and all of these throwing spears are in range. We've got these 3. They're all just in range of the Warg Rider and the Knight there. So the first 3 are going to throw on the Knight, hitting on 5s because they've moved. So 1 hits. Horse or Rider. It hits the horse, but it's a 1 and doesn't kill. So the next 3 are going to throw into the Warg Rider, but they all miss. And then finally, it's these 3 here. And we have 1 hit. Warg or Rider. It hits the Rider. 5+ to kill. It's a 6. It has killed the Warg Rider. And that is first blood to Rohan. That was a successful volley there, if not quite as many as they were hoping for. Evil, in their shoot phase, have just 1 throwing spear now, as those 3 have killed the other one. So he is going to throw at just one of those chaps in front. He's hitting on a 6 because he moved so close but so far away. End of turn 1, and this is how the table is looking. Both forces itching for a fight. Let's roll for turn 2 priority. And it goes to Evil. Start of turn 2, and with Evil priority, Good are going to allow that to happen. This captain can't really go anywhere. If he was to call a heroic move, he can't really escape. So he's just going to allow that charge, and then hopefully there'll be some scope for some counter charges. First things first, the Witch King is going to cast Compel to try and get the captain to move out so that he can be charged. It goes off on a 4+, and it goes off on the 4. He does have his reroll for the crown, but it's still a 1. So it goes off on a 4. The captain has 1 point of might, of will rather, so he's going to try and resist. On a 6, so it's free. The Witch King down 2 will, and the captain gets his back. End of the movement phase, and the Witch King and his cavalry have charged in. With the Witch King's failed magic, he just ploughed straight in, and then his cavalry have followed. With the captain and a lot of the Morgul Knights managing to get into combat. And then on this side, Kamul and his cavalry have charged. They're now just about up to the centre, crossing the board nice and quickly. And this knight has gone off to claim the top right quadrant. In Good's move, they got a lot of guys spear supporting, really maximised all of those throwing spears being used as spears. for the Legion, and their captain has gone in as well. Gamling and a couple of guys, including Haleth, are coming up to either help out going around there, depending on how that goes, or to help Theoden, who has advanced to meet Camul. There will be the archers for Rohan, 2 of whom had to move to get line of sight on Camul, but Aldor rather, and that chap didn't move. So they now have a decent line of sight on Camul, and they have the 30-inch range bows because of the special rule for the defenders of Helm's Deep Legion. We'll start off the shooting then with the 2 bows that have moved, and they are shooting into Camul. They are hitting on 5s. 1 hits. Does it hit the beast on a 1 to 5 or the rider? It hits the beast and does not wound. So then we'll do the chap that didn't move, hitting on 4s. He hits. Beast or rider on a 1 to 4 rather. It's the beast, not a 1 to 5. It is the beast. Needs a 6 to wound. Nothing. We then have Aldor making the same shot. He hits. And does he wound? In fact, no. Beast or rider. The beast. Does he wound? No, he doesn't. Aldor has the lucky shot special rule, which means he has to re-roll all fail to hit and to wound. So he gets to re-roll that, looking for a 6. It's a 5. Is it worth a point of might? It's only on the beast. No, he's going to save that might for when it matters. Into the combat phase. There are no heroics being called. So we'll start off on this side and go across. And the first fight is Captain and Friend against the Charging Warg Rider. Captain, the big green dice. Oh, the Warg Rider did his best there. He gets a 6. But the spear support has won the fight because of the captain's fight value against that Warg Rider. So the captain's first dice against the Warg needing a 4 kills it, and then both of these need a 5 on the man, and he dies as well. That is the first combat kill. We then have a 2-on-2. The charging knight against 2 infantry. And this time it goes to evil. So they're knocked down. These are now double strikes and wounding on 5s down to 4 with the lance. That is a very, very dead fellow there. So he backs off to make way and he dies. We then have the captain against 2. So that is 3 on the charge for the captain against 2 for Rohan. Rohan absolutely bottle it. Neither of their 2 banners are around, so his first set of double strikes needing 5s doesn't kill, and his second set does kill. So he has killed him, and he can back off like that before he dies. We'll then do the Witch King. So the Witch King has 4 attacks on the charge against the 4 infantry. So this fight here. And on the 6, the Witch King wins on fight value. He is defense. They are defense 5. He's strength 6 on his Fell Beast, so he's wounding on 4s. The first guy's taking a double strike and double 1s. That's abysmal. So then the second double strike, still no. Third double strike, that is a kill. And then the final double strike is just a kill. So those 2 backing away and their friends dying. A good couple of Rohan going down, but the cavalry also taking wounds. We then have this fight here, which is a 1-on-1 with spear support. So it's 2-on-2 with the charge bonus. And evil win on fight value. because as much as that is the Eowyn model, she is just a proxy for a normal warrior. And at fight value 4, the lance-wielding rider there, the knight, has won and smashes the warrior of Rohan to bits. She goes down, and then we have another 2-on-2. So this time it will be a draw for fight value. Let's see who wins. Oh, this time it goes to good, needing 6s to wound, double 1s. The knight backs away perfectly safe. And that is the end of the combat phase. End of turn 2, and the fighting is fierce. Let's roll for turn 3 priority. It goes to good. Start of the movement phase, and with good priority, the Orc captain is going to be calling a heroic move, and the Rohan captain is countering. So we'll roll off 1, 2, 3, it's evil, and it goes to evil on the 1. End of the heroic move, and everyone has just charged in where they can, with the Witch King throwing himself behind enemy lines. There's one Warg Rider that couldn't quite get in. The Witch King is going to cast Transfix onto Gamling with his banner there. Obviously, he should have done it in his move, but it's easier to do it out of sequence and be able to film it live. So that goes off on a 6, and Gamling is not going to waste his 1 will on a resist, so that has gone off. Just about the end of the move, but before we finish, Kamul is going to cast Compel on this archer. Now that archer is taking up position to protect the transfixed Gamling, who is vulnerable to a heroic combat from the Witch King. So this is going to be an important Compel. It only goes on a 5 for Kamul. He's not very good at his magic. He prefers smashing stuff. So he's going to throw 4 will at it. Oh, and he bottles it. It doesn't go off. Does he commit a point of might as well? No, he's not going to throw the might in there as well. That's 4 will wasted. End of turn 3 movements. And Rohan have swarmed around some of the riders there. They all passed their courage tests to charge, with Royal Guard behind to try and get the courage bonus, the fight value bonus rather, to at least equal those Black Numenorians. And Gamling is still protected. Theoden and co have all come back to try and consolidate their forces and overwhelm the cavalry charge. The evil force have advanced with the Wargs and Kamul to put pressure on Theoden, while the 2 Black Numenorians with their superior courage are hanging back to hold the corners. There will be some shots as Kamul has chosen to get as close as possible. He's just outside of 6 inches so that the Rohan can't run away from him very easily, but he will take a hail of throwing spears. So there are 4 throwing spears. There's these 3 and him. They've all moved, so they're hitting on 5s. That's 1 hit. Does it hit beast or rider? It hits the beast, but there's no wound. And then there'll also be his shot there. That's Aldor. He's hitting on 5s because he's moved. He's re-rolling. And that's a 1. So he has missed. And that is all of the shooting. Start of the combat phase, and the Witch King is declaring a heroic combat. So to counter, Haleth is going to call a heroic defense, just in case he is going to be a target. And as he's only got 1 might, when he's spent it, start off next turn, he'll get it back anyway from Gamling's banner. So it's basically free. So we'll do the heroic combat, because Theoden is just out of range, so there's no need for him to call anything. So we'll do that heroic combat with the Witch King. He's got 4 dice on the charge. The 2 are going to shield. And on a 4 high, they lose to the Witch King, who has got a 6 anyway there, hiding in the glare. So he is wounding on 4s. We've got the first set of strikes, doesn't kill. Second set of strikes, doesn't kill. Third set of strikes, doesn't kill on 1s. That is abysmal. And he does kill there. So he's killed 1. The other backs away and is fine. And that is a failed heroic combat. That is not good at all for the Witch King. After the shocking failure of the Witch King, we'll do the captain and friend against the charging Morgul Knight. And, oh, it goes to the Morgul Knight. That captain only has 1 point of might left, but he could be killed here. It would be 6s down to 5s, 4 dice. The captain is going to spend his last point of might to draw the fight, which means it is a roll-off. So 1, 2, or 3 evil. Oh, and it's evil anyway, so he's wasted that might. And now it's double strikes against him, needing 5s to kill. No wounds there. So the captain backs away. We'll put a prone marker on him in a moment. But the Morgul Knight is still alive. So then we have the captain against a shielding Royal Guard. Dear me, I can't remember what they're called. So that is 3 attacks on the charge for the captain against shielding Royal Guard. The captain's easily won that. And then he just needs 5s. And he's butchered him. That Royal Guard is dead. We then come down and we have another charging guy against a Rohirrim warrior. And the Rohirrim warrior is just going to fight it. In fact, no, he's going to shield. He's going to play safe. He only gets a draw, so he loses on fights. He is getting wounded there on 5s down to 4s with the lance. These are double strikes, and he's dead. Another warrior goes down. We'll fish him out. The next fight along is much better for Rohan. We have 4 on 2, that charging Warg Rider. And the charging Warg Rider has definitely lost that. So then it is striking to wound. It's 5s on the man or the wargs. We'll roll them all together. Oh, that is definitely a dead warg and rider. Butchered there. We'll then do, with Rohan priority, we'll do this 4 on 1 here because he is going to be trapped. Oh, in fact, yep, so we'll do that 4 on 1 first. The knight does get to roll 2, but it doesn't help him against the 6. So needing 6s to bring him down. No, they don't, but he's trapped, so all again. And this time they kill. So he is dead. Then we have this guy here. He's not trapped, but it's 3 on 2. Oh, it's a draw. Are they in banner range? No, not in banner range, so it's a roll-off. 1, 2, or 3 evil. And it goes to evil. That is precisely what evil needed there. So it's 5s to wound the Royal Guard, 4s to wound the pleb. He's going to go for the Royal Guard and kills him, and then the other guy on 4s. No, so he's killed the Royal Guard. This guy is backed away and is knocked prone. This is the table at the end of turn 3. The board control definitely in favour of Mordor, but they're starting now to take casualties and they do not have the numbers to sustain these kind of losses. But Rohan are also taking a beating. Let's roll for turn 4 priority. And it goes to evil on the 5. Start of turn 4 movement, and with evil priority, good really need to get moving. So Haleth is going to call a heroic move. It's not ideal because Rohan and co don't really want to move at this point. They want to get charged and then counter-charge, but it is the best that they can do to try and mop up here. So Haleth is going to call, and this captain is going to counter with his last point of might. Haleth, of course, regained his spent point of might because of the banner from Gamling. Oh, but on the roll-off, it goes to evil anyway. Having won the heroic move roll-off, the captain, who is affecting all of these guys around him, is going to move and charge into these two, which allows all of his guys to charge quite wide and get into as many Rohirrim as possible. So first to move will be the Witch King himself. And before he moves, he is going to transfix Theoden. He's going to use 2 dice. It goes off on a 3. It goes off there on that 4. He's going to use his crown for a reroll, hunting for a 6. It's a 4. So Theoden is going to use 2 of his 3 will to resist. He resists it there on a 4, so he only just resists it, but it's absolutely fine. And then the Witch King is going to move. End of a successful heroic move for evil. All of the cavalry have charged in. This guy is looking a little bit precarious there, but he's just trying to hold that line while the rest go in. Charged into the captain and that guy who is still prone. Here they've got some fairly advantageous fights, and importantly the Witch King has gone in on the charge into Haleth and Aldor, which has shut off Haleth's heroic move, so it's now back to evil movement. The rest of evil movement, and Camul is going to try and transfix Theoden. He needs a 4+, and it doesn't go off. Camul has been exceptionally useless there with his spells. 2 attempts at casting, both failed. 6 will down the drain, but he is going in anyway. He is going to charge into Theoden. End of the movement phase, and evil just finished off by moving up so that they'd be within 6 of Camul if he calls a heroic combat next turn, if he's still alive, because, and we didn't film any of it because it's impossible to manoeuvre and film around all these daft wings, but Rohan have just charged. There was only one guy that failed the courage test, and that was him. Everyone else passed, and then spear supports went in. So on Camul we have Theoden and Gamling and everyone else in the world, it would appear. And then over here, not a lot, because Rohan couldn't do too much, but they've managed to trap the captain there. Yeah. And that is about it up there. They pulled most things away to try and break the 2 ring wraiths. There will be some shooting. There's 1 throwing spear here. He's moved, so he's hitting on a 6, so he misses. Yep. And that is the shooting. So straight into the combat phase. Start of the fight phase, and Camul is going to use the second part of his Essence Leech ability. So he is going to gain 1 point of fight value. So he is now fight 6. And then both he and Theoden are striking. The Witch King is fighting Aldor and co. Haleth is unable to strike because he's spent his might already on a heroic move. But amazingly, does have a drawn fight value with the Witch King, because when he's in combat, all warriors within 6 inches have +1 to fight. And as that's a fight 4, now fight 5 Royal Guard, that equals the Witch King. The Witch King, however, is not going to waste his might. Hopefully, he's not going to regret it. We'll start off the fights then right up here with the prone captain. He is going to shield against the charging knight. Oh, and the knight has won. The captain is out of might. Will he survive? I will grab those dice in a minute. He's taking hits, wounds on 5s, and again he's absolutely fine. So we'll back that knight away, but he is still prone. We then have a 2 on 2, although the front guy will not be able to strike if he wins. Oh, which they do. So only 1 strike, needing a 5 to kill the rider, and it kills him. Does the warg stay? We'll do his courage. Yes, the warg stays. So we'll whip that guy off, and the warg has stayed. The next fight will be this Knight on one guy who is going to shield, even though he's got a bow, he's also going to shield. And he wins, pushing the knight back. We then have the captain against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. Grab some dice for them against the charging captain. So the captain has 3 against 5. Oh, and the captain draws that fight. The Royal Guard is not within range of Haleth. Oh, in fact, it might be. We'll just measure that. The Royal Guard is in range of Haleth, which means that the captain loses the fight there, and he's going to be taking 10 hits. He's only getting wounded on 6s, but this is still going to hurt. So the first lot of strikes, that's 1 wound. Oh, just 1 wound. The captain survives. That is very lucky. We'll back those away in a moment. The next fight is this knight here against 2, and they are going to fight normally. Oh, they draw the fight because of the Haleth bonus. So it's a roll off, 1, 2, 3 evil, but on a 4, 5, 6, that 5 there doing it, the good side win. So needing 6s to kill, no, the knight backs away. And then we come to the big fights. We have Haleth and Aldor with 2 friends against the Witch King. We've gathered up the dice. We have Haleth in yellow, Aldor in blue, because he has might, and then the 2 warriors in green. So they get lots of 6s. Pressure's on the Witch King now. And the Witch King, the cocked dice, he's looking for a 6. Still cocked, dear me. Roll up here, it's a 1. So the Witch King loses. Unless he spends a point of might just to draw the fight. He is going to spend a point of might. Doesn't want to risk getting killed there. So he is going to spend a point of might, and it goes to a draw. Which he loses anyway. Poor Witch King. He is now going to be taking strikes. They're all going after him. And a 6 from Aldor. He is only strength 3 because he's an old man, so it's 6s by, and that 5 does a wound to the Witch King. So his first fate is saved. So Aldor there does a wound to the Witch King and pushes him back. Haleth's fight value bubble there coming in incredibly useful. Then the final fight is Kamul against the host of Rohan. They've both struck, Theoden and Kamul, so we'll do the strike roll off. Oh, Theoden is only fight 7, but Kamul will be fight 10. So as long as he can beat the Rohan roll, he's in with a chance. There are 7 standard Rohirrim. We'll roll them. If we can grab 7 dice. 7 guys have not got the 6. Then we've got Theoden, who only gets a 4. Gamling, who gets a 6. Finally, there is a 6 in there. So now Kamul, with 3 on the charge, needs a 6. Oh, and he absolutely bottles it. He has lost the fight, and he is well and truly trapped. So these dice are all doubled up. See if Kamul goes down. So 7 strikes. These are all doubled. 6s by 4. Nothing there. And nothing there. There's also the banner, who we didn't roll originally because he couldn't get a 6. He gets a 6. 6 by 2. No wound there for the banner. We'll then do Theoden. We'll just shift all these dice out of the way. There we go. So then Theoden gets a wound because he is just 6s because of his strength. Double strikes because Kamul is trapped. Nothing there. So that is a 6. And we'll remember that 4 in case he wants to burn loads of might. We then have Gamling, who does a wound and double strikes. So 2 wounds. He's got 2 fates. Does Theoden risk it? Burn all his might. He is the only guy that can strike, but he will get might back from the banner. So yes, he is going to burn 2 might to turn that into a 6. So that's 3 wounds on Camul. He has to pass both of these fates. And he does! Camul has no fate left, but he is alive. In fact, no, he's not. That's gibberish, because he's only got 1 wound. He is dead. Theoden there has killed him, even though he's passed both his fate. Theoden has killed Camul. End of turn 4, and the cavalry charge has faltered. Rohan have swarmed in and have taken down one of the wraiths, although the Witch King and the cavalry are still alive and kicking. Let's roll for turn 5 priority. That's cocked. On a 4, it goes to evil. Start of the movement phase, and with evil priority, Aldor is going to use his one and only might to call a heroic move. And of course, Theoden, at the start of the turn, is regenerating a point of might from Gamling's banner. Evil, with the Witch King, only have 1 point of might, so he's going to save that for his strike. And also, Aldor is catching most of Rohan, but it's going to mean that Rohan are unable to charge both sets of cavalry. So if they try and tie up down here, they won't be able to stay within 6 of Aldor and charge these guys. So there are some tough decisions for Rohan. So Aldor is going to try and charge the Witch King, just to try and get that little bit closer up there so that guys can move further. Because of his control zone, the Witch King's control zone, he won't be able to move forward that way, and he wants to be able to get as far over there as possible. So he's courage 4. Oh, he doesn't pass unless he's got a point of will. So yeah, we'll just double check his profile. He does have a point of will because of the -1 courage bubble from the Witch King. He's had to use that point of will, but that means he's able to charge and get round there, ready to allow his guys to join the fun. End of the movement phase, and Rohan have managed to charge and tie down the Witch King and a lot of riders here. They managed to tie down those 3, although this knight has charged into the prone captain and friend, and has they've been charged, but he gets no cavalry bonus. So these guys were then able to charge in. They have just engaged along here, just trying to get some kills. And this guy, amazingly, got a 6 followed by a 6. Killed him with his throwing spear on the way in. And then is going to plough in and peel off these 2 spear supports. So that throwing spear there is easily paid for itself. That is all of the move for evil. There wasn't a lot. And obviously, good have just piled in on the Witch King. The other thing to note is that Haleth has charged up as far around as possible to give his fight value buff to pretty much all of the combats except the guys right down here. And also that the 2 banners have doubled up. That is simply to keep him safe. Unfortunately, banners don't stack, so even though there's multiple banners around this fight, there'll only be 1 reroll. It is redundant to keep them together, but the other banner couldn't really get anywhere safe from the cavalry charge. As we say, there's no shooting, so we'll go straight into combats. And it's this one here, the captain and 2 friends. This guy's not actually prone. We forgot to stand him up after the last combat where he killed that Warg's rider. So it's 2, and then the captain in the bigger dice against the charging knight. The captain's got a 6 there. So the captain will stand and the other 2 are going to make strikes. Needing 6s, nothing at all. He is safe, but the captain is now upright. We'll then do this fight here. It's a 2-on-1. There's no charge bonus there for the Warg when he's got no rider. Simply because he's no longer cavalry. Oh, and he wins. He's going after the Royal Guard because it's 5s either way. But he doesn't kill either of them. they back away. And then next up, it's the captain against 2. This captain here against 2, so it's 2 on 2. The captain wins, neither of those are in range of a banner. Captain didn't charge, but he does kill, wounding him on 4s because he's got a bow, so his shield doesn't get him the extra defense. The next fight then is this here, a 1 on 2. Oh, wrong way round. I'll just ignore that completely. Picking up the wrong dice. And Good win. So Good have won. And then they are wounding him on 6s. No, the tough armour there of the Black Númenórean Knights is seeing them proud. We then have Haleth and 3 friends against the Black Númenórean. There's no might left on Haleth, so we'll do all of these the same. Black Númenórean Knight did not charge, and he has lost. They're all strength 3, so they're all wounding on 6s. No wounds. Again, the Knight just backs away and forming that little cavalry wall there, but they are very surrounded. The next fight then, we will do this one here. It's 2 against the charging Warg Rider. So it's 2 on 2. Evil have won, but they are well and truly in banner range, but they don't get enough. 4 is not enough, so against the archer it's just 4s, kills him, and then 5s against the other guy, kills him. That Warg Rider doing the business has killed these 2 guys. Let's move him back now that we've fished them out. And then we'll do these fights here. We've got 2 on 1. He is going to shield. He's going to try and hold the line. He wins and pushes the Warg Rider back. We then have another 1-on-1 where he's going to shield and win again, pushing that Warg Rider back. Then we have the final fight. It's the Witch King against Theoden and a lot of friends. So we'll do the Heroic Strike roll-off. Oh, and this time Theoden has fight value. He is fight value 10. The Witch King is fight value 9. That is not good at all. We'll just find all of the dice and then we'll come back. So we have Aldor, Gamling and Theoden in the fight, along with 3 friends and a banner. So we'll roll the Witch King first, see if we can get set the bar at a 6. He doesn't, he only gets a 5. So then we'll roll the friends, the banner in purple. They also get a 5, which draws the fight, and with Theoden's fight value, they have won. So now they're going to see if they can kill the Witch King. We'll roll all these. They are double strikes. Oh, that is some 6s there. Shift those out of the way. Oh, and the purple. Dear me. That was 2 6s, so it's 6s by 4. That's 2 wounds. The double strikes. 2 more 6s. 6, that's 3 wounds. And then we have Theoden, who fails his first double strikes. Gets it on... Oh, in fact, no. Also fails the second. Then Gamling, who's going to use a point of might to put in a wound. That's 4 wounds. And another point of might. That's 5 wounds. Then we also have Aldor, who will be yellow, who does nothing. So 5 wounds. The Witch King is toast. So the Witch King is dead. The astute among you will realise that actually he's only got 3 fate, so putting in 5 wounds is overkill. So Gamling, of course, will not spend that last point of might to go for the 5th wound. End of the turn, and that was brutal. With the Witch King falling hot on the heels of Kamul's death, the tide is definitely turning towards Rohan's favour. But the battle's still not over. Evil do have the board possession up here Let's roll for turn 6 priority. And it goes to evil. Start of the turn with evil priority. It's going to be Aldor who regenerates his point of might from being within 3 inches of the banner of Rohan, and he's then going to call a heroic move, which is going to get in pretty much everybody. He is then just going to charge into this Warg Rider here, allowing all of the guys to charge and tie down cavalry. After that heroic move, Aldor and a lot of friends, including Theoden, Gamling and the Banner, have all piled onto this poor Warg Rider for some heroic combat shenanigans. They have been able to charge down here with some guys, and up here, Haleth and a couple of others have managed to get into combat, tying things down. These guys all failed their courage to charge, which was not very good, because that now allows those 2 cavalry to charge in. So we're back after evil move, and that is all they've been able to do is just charge those 2 guys. Tying up here, and then the only guy that can move for good is him. He's just going to stay stationary. And these 3 that failed their courage tests have no shots, so it's into the combat phase. Start the combat phase then, and we'll start off with this heroic combat declared by Gamling. He is going to be the blue dice, Theoden in the green dice, and then there's all the other guys in the banner in purple. They get the 6 there with one of the blokes, and then they are rolling to wound. There's loads and loads of wounds there. So both the Warg and the Rider are dead, and they'll get to move on. After that heroic, Theoden, the Banner and a bloke have come down here to try and clear out this quadrant, while Gamling, Aldor and another couple have just charged up to try and break the Mordor force up in this quadrant. And then, importantly as well, they're just trying to split off so that the heroic combats don't affect everyone and pull them all into the same direction. So we'll carry on the fight phase with Theoden and 2 friends against a Warg Rider. Theoden easily wins that, and then they're all wounding on 5s. They absolutely butcher both the Warg and the Rider. We then have 3 on 1. One of those is the Banner, so that'll be in purple against the Warg Rider. Ooh, who wins? But there is the Banner reroll to a win there. So that Banner splitting away from the Gamling Banner is now starting to be useful. These are all double strikes. So the first guy on the Rider kills him, and then another strike on the Warg doesn't kill it. Last strike. The Warg is alive. The Rider is dead. Does it pass its courage test? No, it's dead. So they back away, and both Mount and Rider are dead. So that quadrant now is fully under Rohan control. Next we'll do Gamling and Friend against 1. So Gamling is the big dice. He easily wins that. And then Gamling needing 5s. Doesn't do it, but he's going to use his last point of might to pump that up to a 5 and get the kill, because he's going to regenerate it from the Banner anyway. We'll then do this guy here. He is going to shield because he's against the Captain. And the Captain may kill him, so he's just going to shield. He has won the fight because Haleth is in combat, so he is a higher fight value, and he just pushes the Captain back. Then we have Haleth and 3 friends against that wall. So Haleth is out of might. We'll just roll him and his friends together. They win, and then they're wounding on 5s. They kill the Warg. This is brutal now. We've then got a 1-on-1, but this time it was a charge from the Morgul Knight there. So he wins. He's then going to be wounding him on 4s with that lance, and his first set of double strikes gets the kill on the charge, they are lethal. All except this guy, who has won 2 fights against that captain and failed to wound on 8 total dice. So can he at least win the fight and keep that streak up, or will he go down? So he has 2. We'll roll him. He only gets a 2 high. That's not good against the captain in the big dice. And then his friends in the smaller dice, they win. Captain needing 5s. He kills him. And that is the end of that Morgul Knight. So that is the end of the turn, and also the end of the game. Because Mordor, after that incredible Rohan killing spree, have been quartered. Wow. So having started that turn not even broken, they end it quartered. With just the 2 runners over there, and then the captain and the Morgul Knight surviving after an absolutely brutal infantry slaughter there as they brought down the cavalry. Rohan took the initial charge quite badly, but then they've come back and slaughtered Mordor in a very resounding victory. Victory points are fairly even for the quadrants, with Rohan having 2 points and 2 points, and Mordor having 2 and 2, because both of the left-hand quarters are owned by Rohan with at least double the enemy, and both are owned by Mordor on the right. So that's 4 victory points each, but then Rohan have killed the enemy leader and they have broken the enemy while remaining unbroken to give them an 8-4 victory. So in an incredible twist of fate, the Witch King has fallen and Theoden has killed him and beaten back the cavalry of Mordor. All while fighting as the true horse lord he is, on foot. I hope you've enjoyed this game. It certainly could have gone either way at any point. I definitely did not expect this result from the first half. It looked very much like Mordor were going to run away with it, but then Rohan came back swinging. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.